Okay, we need to talk. So the Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct just happened, which, by the way, was absolutely incredible. I loved it so much. I have my whole reaction up on the channel if you guys missed that. But one of the things that they just kind of sneaked in there, like a ninja, is the price of the new Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass subscription. Is that what it's called? I don't even know. Welcome back to another video here on the channel today, my friends. We do a variety of Nintendo-based content if you are new to the channel. But I really had to talk about this topic because here's the thing, right? There's a lot of things that Nintendo gets flack for that I've defended. You know, certain things. For example, Skyward Sword HD, right? There was a group of people who weren't really satisfied with what Skyward Sword HD was, and I was okay with it, right? I didn't think it was a ripoff or anything like that. I think it was satisfying to me personally as a consumer. We're all different as consumers, right? Same thing with the 3D Mario collection, right? I loved it. I loved both of those things. But this is one thing that I feel like it's just not a good thing, man. And that is the Switch, the new Nintendo Switch online subscription fee. What is it called? I can't even remember what it's called right now. But they're asking an absurd amount of money for what they're adding. Now listen. It could very well be that down the line there's way more value added, which is fine. But as of what it stands on day one, the value I just feel isn't quite there. They're asking an additional practically $50. The actual price, Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions, they go for, well, it depends if you have a family plan or if you have an individual plan, right? For someone like me, I have a family plan. I share it with my parents and then my wife who has her own Switch Lite and whatnot. But basically, an individual membership, we're going to go off a 12-month basis, is $20. $20 for individual, and for a family it's $35. But the new version, now listen, you could still buy those versions, right? You don't have to get the one that has the expansion pack, as they call it. The expansion pack comes with the Nintendo 64 online games, that library, the Sega Genesis library, and now apparently Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, which is going to be paid DLC coming to Animal Crossing. So if you missed the whole direct, there's a big free update, lots of free stuff coming, but there's also a paid expansion. Now the paid DLC you can pay $30 for by itself, or you get it for free as part of this expansion pack of Nintendo Switch Online, which I thought was really, really cool. But then when you factor into the price and stuff, I don't know, man. I guess the way they're seeing it is like, well, you know, you're factoring in the price for the Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, you're factoring the N64 stuff and the Sega Genesis stuff and maybe everything else is to come. But they're asking about, it depends which edition you go for. But if you have the individual membership, it's an extra $20 a month, right? So for individual membership, without this, it's $20. This one is $50. Sorry, $30 extra a month. So $30 extra a month for the individual membership. Now, if you have the family membership, typically that's $35 a month for the base one. So that's the one that's not the expansion pack version. But the expansion pack version is $79.99, so $80, right? So if you factor that in, that's $45 more, almost $50 extra. $45 more for the family, $30 more for the individual. I just don't know that it's quite worth that price. I mean, every dollar counts, right? If it was, let's say for the individual, it was maybe like an extra $20 instead of $30. That $10 does make a difference. It really does. I think that would have been a little bit more of a fair price point. Maybe still a tiny bit steep. I don't know. Maybe more fair, right? And then the family edition, instead of $45 more, let's say they, you know, again, it was like maybe $20 more or something, right? Or $25 even, if you want to really go that route. But you still, you know, you're cutting it by about $20. I think that's the price point ideally that makes sense. That makes the most sense for this package. Now, I get it. You got an expansion pack or DLC or whatever for Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, they're calling it. That is worth, like, what is it, 25 US by itself, 30 Canadian. So we're going on a few USD prices for now, even though I'm Canadian. So $25 US just for that. They're probably thinking, oh, well, you're getting a $25 value there. You're getting all these N64 games that if you bought on, you know, the eShop, let's say on the Wii U, because you can't get it on the Nintendo Switch eShop, those are probably like $5 a pop. You know, maybe they're like, oh, of course it's worth the price. And I just don't see it like evening out like that. Because if you look at the competitors like PlayStation and Xbox with I mean, don't even get me started on Xbox Game Pass. Ultimate Game Pass is like the best deal you can get in subscription services. To me, like, I'm just sticking to that because Game Pass is crazy. I mean, you got a whole crazy library of games that you're getting, like a massive library of games, even some new AAA games that get added in there, right? Xbox, Microsoft, they add in their newest games. So like the Halo campaign, for example, for Halo Infinite, since multiplayer is free, that's going to be there day one. There's other big titles that are there day one. Some of the Bethesda games now, even because they've acquired them. I mean, there's a substantial amount of content there, and for the price that they're asking, it makes sense, right? They're not asking a huge amount for Game Pass. And of course, if you get Game Pass Ultimate, that also includes your online subscription, which includes, you know, Xbox Live Gold, which is the monthly games you get for free. And of course, be able to play online, you know, use the servers and whatnot. PlayStation Plus, you got the online servers, and then of course you got PlayStation Plus games every single month. Things like 3 games a month they're at now and whatnot. And you know, there's some cloud stuff as well, which Nintendo Switch Online has as well. But here's the difference. Let's just talk about the servers alone. The servers alone between Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. Nintendo servers are not quite yet there up to par with PlayStation and Xbox. They're still a little janky to some regard online, and so I don't think that, you know, that alone justifies it, right? The other side of things is that on PlayStation and Xbox, you got a lot of multiplayer games compared to what you have on Nintendo. Like, because Nintendo Switch's console is not necessarily as powerful as Xbox and PlayStation, there's a lot of multiplayer games that are not there, but they've managed to get some there, like Apex Legends, they managed to get there. They got Fortnite, you know, so there is a good amount of multiplayer games, but I feel like it's not the same amount, right? So people are not probably going to be spending as much time on Nintendo Switch Online as they would on PlayStation or Xbox. And even then, a lot of people do argue about the subscription thing, right? A lot of PC gamers have argued about it because PC, you're not paying for access to online servers, right? Like that. You're paying for certain games have subscriptions like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14, but that's about it. But with Nintendo, I mean, okay, sure, you're getting a library of N64 games, which is pretty good. And who knows? I mean, the next step after that may be GameCube. And listen, if this included N64, GameCube, Sega Genesis, and a bunch of other stuff, then it'd be like, okay, that now it's probably worth this price point, right? At that point, there is so much value added that at that point, I'd be like, okay, fine. $80 a year US for the family membership, $50 for the individual membership. It makes more sense in that scenario. There's a lot more to the expansion pack version. I would understand. But as of day one, it shouldn't cost that much as of day one, right? In my head, what makes more sense is if they would have, let's say like, okay, like I said, let's say they added $25 for the family membership even, right? Which instead of 45, right? That cuts $20. And let's say 20 instead of 30 extra for the individual, right? So let's say they started at that, right? So instead of $50 a year, it's $40 a year for the individual. And instead of $80 a year, it was like, what was it? Like, what did I say? $50? Yeah, $50 for the family or whatever the calculation I had, 60, 50, whatever. $20 less. Then down the road, if you add a bunch more stuff to it, then you can increase it to this price point that they're asking right now. It would make more sense at that point. Now, I know people would not be happy about it still at that point, but at least it's instead of like this massive jump right away, it's like as you add more value to your service, you have increased the price a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And it's less of a harder blow initially, right? And it makes more sense to the consumer. Because like I said, day one, paying an extra $45 for family membership, an extra $30 for the individual membership for N64, Sega Genesis, and Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, it's not going to sit well with a lot of Nintendo fans. I've already seen on Twitter, people are really angry about it. People are not happy about this scenario. And I don't think it's going to sit well with a lot of people. I mean, think about this. If I'm talking about this, you know it's not sitting well because there's a lot of things that I would defend that, you know, certain people were outraged about, that, you know, I was like, well, to me, you know, it still makes some sense, right? This scenario doesn't fully make sense to me for that price point for this. Like I said, down the road, you add more stuff. Okay, at that point, it's maybe worth this price point. Day one, not quite, man. Not quite. It shouldn't be this much extra day one. Add GameCube down the line. There's more N64 games that have been added at that point. I don't know, man. That's just kind of my thoughts. I wanted to kind of quickly just rant about that because I just don't think it's going to sit well with a lot of fans. I wish Nintendo would have a better price point on this. I guess we'll see. We'll see how people are reacting to it, but you guys can let me know in the comments below. Are you cool with this price point? Or are you upset about it? Like, obviously none of us want to pay extra money, right? But you know, it does make sense that there's, you know, this extra value, you pay extra money, but this much extra day one, I don't know. I'm not really feeling that. I wish they would have went with a little bit of a lower price point and then later on increased it as they added more value, as opposed to just boom, this is the price point day one. I don't know. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And, you know, I would say hopefully Nintendo would listen and change things, but it's probably not going to happen. It's probably just going to stay the way it is, unfortunately. And hopefully down the line, there's enough added value where at that point it does make it worth this price point. But day one, it's gonna be a hard pill to swallow. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Stick around for more Nintendo content. You can check out my non-Nintendo gaming content over on youtube.com/JSkeleton. Join our Discord. Follow me, JSkeleton92 on Twitter. And I'll see you guys soon. Another one. Tell them friends. Game on.